Recently I've been watching gameplays of God of War Ragnarok here on YouTube. I haven't been aware that the game was released last year, or maybe I'm living under a rock, who knows. However, there are big fights of the titans in the games between Kratos and THOR, which led me to binge watch the entire gameplay. As a matter of fact, the fight inspired me to create this video. So, let's begin. Before I start drawing, I need to find reference pictures. And the plan is, I'm going to choose one from the first fight and the other from the second encounter. Just give me a few minutes, I'll be back soon. Alright, here are the pictures. Although they're a bit blurry, I'll find a way to work around them and learn something in the process. However, I have given myself a challenge, or I will call it a stipulation, which is I have to replace both THOR and Kratos and add in wild animals. I know it will be hard to pull off, but I have written the steps I have to take for me to reach my goal. So grab your notepads and write this down. Because here's the first step. I'm starting off by sketching shapes. Now, I'm identifying the center by drawing circles around it. This will guide me of where my subjects will be in shape form. Now, I'm going to add 2 medium circles to identify exactly where THOR and Kratos are according to the reference. I'm adding smaller circles for the head, hands, and oval-shaped circles for the arms. The circles are not accurate, they're just for guidance. It's at this stage I embrace mistakes, cause it's just a sketch. However, everything must be done according to the reference. And this leads to the second step, which is... Now is when I'll connect the circles and make them into one body. 2 bodies actually. And I'll be only using the outlines of the circles but not the overlaps to just create one major body. So formation is like the main foundation, and it's better to correct any proportion of flaws and mistakes at this point rather than later. Remember, I said that I have to replace these gods with animals. It's at this stage I have to implement the idea. We'll start with Kratos. I will replace him with a tiger. Then THOR, I will replace him with a panda, because his physique resembles a panda in the game. So I'm going to use the same human bodies and just add 2 animal heads on them, including a hammer in the middle. But the panda will have long hair. Now I'm remaining with outlining the formation so that it looks vibrant, and have a clear foundation which will give me a good picture on the next step. I believe I'm done with the formation stage. Now I have to do the third step, which is actually my favorite one, which is... At this stage, I have to add light, shadows, and texture, and in the process bring the drawing to life in 3D. When shading, I will use the side of the pencil so that I can cover a larger area rather than using the tip, and I'll apply it using layers. By the way, the pencils I'm using are B graphite pencils. To be specific, I'm using 1, 3, 4, and 6 B pencils. And when shading, I start from the left, then slowly come to the right, so that I do not accidentally put my hand on the graphites, or accidentally dent the artwork after applying the shade. However, at this stage, I have to exercise patience before I decide to use any shortcuts. However, I'm using a B pencil on the lighter areas, and then the 6B pencil on the darker areas, because it works like the higher the number, the darker it gets. And I had trouble drawing the hair because I had to move the pencil in different directions to identify the lights and the dark shadows. And if you want to learn how to shade, there are tons of videos on YouTube, you can check them out, because I'm also learning too. I think this looks complete, but we're remaining with the last step, which is... You may call it finishing touches, details, it's just the same. I'm starting off by adding shadows on the buttons, which are located on the leather armor of THOR, to add realism on it. Followed by THOR's hammer, which is glowing on the side, while it's pushing Kratos by the neck. I'm just adding a darker shade on the side of the hammer now. Then adding shadows again on the plating which is on the shoulder leather of THOR. I want it to stand out from the leather. Finishing up on the eye of THOR, which is fuming with anger and revenge. And to Kratos I need to add another shade of black on his facial stripes, to express discomfort on the face. And finally adding stripes on Kratos' fingers, cause he's a tiger. A very strong one, by the way. I think I'm done with this drawing, and I believe it's looking great for my first attempt. Now I have a second reference to attend to, of which I will focus on the background this time. Alright, I have already drawn the 2 subjects. I used the same steps from the previous drawing, and now I have to focus on the background. And I'll start with perspective, of which I'm starting off by adding these lines coming from each corner and going to the center, or at the center of the paper, to signify that the further the objects, the smaller they look. As you can see, THOR looks smaller than Kratos, because he's been punched away from us, the viewer. Now I'm adding a few details for guidance when I start shading. There are distant mountains, closer hills, and rocks. Now I'm shading the mountains with a soft number 2 pencil. I started dark from the top, then lighter below. Here near the fighters, I add less graphite for it to look distant, and I'm avoiding the subjects from being hit by my pencil. Now I'm using a number 4B pencil for the ground they are fighting on, and I will not blend anything, we'll just let the impurities to be part of the ground and rocks. Now I'm taking extra care and patience on drawing the grass and shadows, because I'm putting little effort, but which is very important. And I'm starting with the shadows on the rock, and I'm using a number 6 pencil, which is going to add good dark graphite, and there will be no blending needed here. I think I'm done with this drawing too. With these simple steps I've made, because I'm an amateur artist, a self-taught amateur artist, from drawing from this reference to this artwork and this other reference to this other artwork, I think I'm pretty fine with just 2 first attempts. And if there are things that I have left out, just leave a comment or I will do it in the next video. If you subscribe, that is. However, I'm still finding my art style, and I've made a video about that which will be in the description below, and thank you for watching. See you on the next one.